This chapter is entitled, I'm Not Defensive. Well, did that sound defensive? Of course it did. Anytime a person has to defend themselves by saying they're not defensive, it's a sure sign that you are. Let me read you some studies on marriages, and then let's talk about how we really can lay down our defensiveness so we can move into unity. If time could promise intimacy in marriage, it would be a great thing, but it doesn't. The number of divorces filed per year of couples married more than 20 years is very alarming. Divorce rates among couples over 50 have doubled in the last 20 years, according to a study by Bowling Green State University. In 1990, fewer than 1 in 10 people who divorced were 50 or older. In 2009, that figure was 1 in 4. Now, this is very alarming, and recently I just met a lady who had been married 35 years, and she and her husband had recently divorced. Also, I recently lunched with another lady that was just totally in anxiety after more than 30 years of marriage. She was saying to me, I can't take it anymore. The truth is, it is entirely possible for you to learn how to navigate your differences. However, that doesn't create intimacy. And what we want to do is to help you get to a place that in your marriage, both of you drop your guard so you really can live in intimacy, not just harmony, but intimacy. Now, let's consider and take a closer look at some of the ways two can become one. Number one, you must face your need to be right. If you are always trying to prove that you're right, you're putting your spouse down. When you face your need to be right, then if someone gives you a correction, you are going to put up your wall of defense because you don't want to receive what they have to say, and then you'll fire back. Number two, present your case at a different time than he is presenting his case. So, for example, if you have a difference and you need to present your case, don't do it at the same time or you will end up in an argument. And so, I like to use the Esther principle. Maybe Larry will present his case on something that I don't agree with. Instead of letting him know right then that I don't agree with it, I may reply, you know what, babe, let me think about that. And then I'll come back to him later and say, I've been thinking about that. And I may say, you're absolutely right. I didn't see it. But after you pointed it out, I can see that it's totally possible. I will accept that correction. And together, maybe you can help me walk through being able to change this. I remember when we were early married, I'm a talker. And he had married me, moved me to an environment that was foreign to me. We moved out of state. It was an established group of friends. He was in leadership and ministry. And we went to our first social as a married couple. When we got home, now you might think this was cruel, but it wasn't. It was love for me. And he said to me, babe, you are so beautiful. You have such a charming personality. Everybody loves you. What a fun night it was. But I want you to recognize and notice something. You did most of the talking that evening. And he said, when we go into social environments, you want to be careful that you don't dominate all of the conversations. Well, my goodness, I had never had anyone tell me that. My mother didn't tell me that. I moved from living with my parents to living with Larry. And his love totally adjusted the type of person that I became. And instead of being defensive, I said to him, wow, I never thought about that. You know what? I did. I didn't even recognize it. And I will be more careful next time. Can you see the difference that made? And what it did is it helped me to grow. So don't try to protect yourself. And I want to tell you something else. Listen to your conversation. If you hear yourself when someone else states a fact, and if your reply is, I know. I mean, maybe they could be talking about, the color of a chair. and that chair is red. If you go, I know, then what it does is keeps them from continuing why they were telling you that the chair was red. Or any example, it doesn't have to be a conflict, but if your reply is I know, then it shuts them up. They have nothing else to say. So change your I knows to really? Is that right? Oh, what a great thought. Something that is affirming, and it keeps the conversation open, and it will begin changing your defensive behavior. Improve your communication habits, and I just gave you a good example of that. So when you are communicating, you will, instead of being a one-up, being the last word, you allow somebody else to be the last word. When you drop your guard, will you be hurt? Yeah, sometimes. But the greater reward is that you will be able to connect in intimacy in your relationship.